everybody, and welcome back to another Pokemon Challenge video. Last week, we continued our little mini-series, going down the lines of generations, using unique and obscure Pokemon that came out of those generations. Last week, we did Regigigas on Pokemon Platinum, and it was a ton of fun as always, and if you haven't done so already, I highly recommend checking that one out when you're done watching this video. And today, we are continuing that mini-series, entering the Hoenn region, in what was genuinely my most enjoyable experience so far making these videos. We have been working our way down the generational line, using unique and obscure Pokemon that came out of those generations. We've done Stonjourner, Dhelmise, Heliolisk, Cryogonal, Regigigas, and today we're going into the Hoenn region with a pair of Pokemon that are so obscure, not a single trainer in the entire game uses one of either of them. And this pair was voted on by you guys, so definitely don't forget to leave your suggestions for Pokemon you'd like to see me use in the future down below. Maybe one day, I'll add it in a poll, and somebody will vote on it, and we'll get to it. We're gonna try and beat Pokemon Emerald using the Deep Sea and the South Sea Pokemon, HUNTAIL and GOREBYSS, our Clamperl Kelly's evolutions. Of course, if you find yourself enjoying this video at any point, don't forget to leave a like down below really quick. It helps the channel out a ton. And if you want to see more videos like this in the future, don't forget to subscribe as well and ring that bell to be notified of all future uploads for this channel. I upload a Pokemon Challenge video just like this one every weekend on Saturday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and maybe sometimes other days too. And of course, leaving a nice comment like this one also goes a really long way. Thanks so much, Rex Reap. I will definitely keep up the good work, and I'm really glad you're enjoying the challenge videos. With that being said, let's jump into this run and see, can I beat Pokemon Emerald only using the pair of HUNTAIL and GOREBYSS with no items in battle? Let's jump right in and find out. HUNTAIL and GOREBYSS are the Deep Sea and South Sea Pokemon. They are both pure water types, despite learning Dark and Psychic moves respectively, and even in Pokemon Ranger Shadows of Almia, their Poke Assist is Dark for HUNTAIL and Psychic for GOREBYSS. I think Water and Dark and Water and Psychic would have been really cool typings for them. They both come from the same evolutionary line. They are a split evolution pair of the Pokemon Clamperl. Clamperl can only be found underwater in the Hoenn region, using the HM move Dive, after the 7th gym. And on top of that, they require a trade evolution item to evolve, the Deep Sea Tooth and the Deep Sea Scale, only one of which is obtainable during the game. So now you can probably see why these Pokemon are so obscure, and I bet a lot of you never knew they even existed back in the day. Which is a shame, because they're really awesome Pokemon. They both have the same ability in Swift Swim, so maybe we'll see the use of Rain Dance at some point, which funnily enough is also found with the HM for Dive. As for their stats, they are pretty well-rounded Pokemon. They both have the same speed, hit points, and special defense at 52, 55, and 75. Not good on the first two, and the special defense is passable, I suppose. Where they really shine is their physical defense, and their respective attacking stats. GOREBYSS is the special attacker, and HUNTAIL is the physical attacker. Meaning in Generation 3, where all water moves are special, GOREBYSS is objectively the better Pokemon. But even still, HUNTAIL has pretty respectable special attack too. The 10 extra points GOREBYSS has in special attack over HUNTAIL's attack went into HUNTAIL's special attack for some reason, making HUNTAIL pretty well-rounded. For this run, I will be using a freshly hatched Clamperl that has been immediately evolved. So they will start with Clamperl's level 1 moves, in Clamp, Water Gun, Whirlpool, and Iron Defense. But as for HUNTAIL and GOREBYSS's level up moves, they're pretty similar. GOREBYSS learns a couple of Psychic moves, and HUNTAIL Dark moves. GOREBYSS gets Psychic, and HUNTAIL gets Crunch. That's basically all that matters. And to make things even worse for HUNTAIL, Dark is also special in Generation 3. And their TM capability isn't much different either. GOREBYSS gets Shadow Ball and Safeguard, whereas HUNTAIL gets Rock Tomb and Snatch. I mean, at least they both get access to stuff like Ice Beam, which is always a help for a water type. They both also learn the same move tutor moves, but only 3 of them are available in the main story, being Swagger, Sleep Talk, and Mimic. Maybe one of them will be useful. As for the rules of this challenge, they are the same as usual for this series. I'm not allowed to use any items in battle. Pokeballs for HM users are fair game, and so are any held items. Huntail and Gorebyss are the only Pokemon that are allowed to fight. And on top of this, no other Pokemon is even allowed to enter battle. Meaning in double battles, they both must make it through the fight. And this challenge ends when I defeat Steven Stone. Not only do I have to beat the Pokemon League, but we're taking on the true final boss of Emerald as well. And before anybody says anything, yes, I would normally do a run with more than one Pokemon on set. But I've been doing so many solo runs lately, I forgot to set it to set. Sorry about that. If you'd like, comment down below and let me know what you think our biggest roadblock will be. Personally, I think Watson is going to be a pretty big hurdle to overcome, but I'm also kind of worried about Juan. With no great moves for water types, and his nasty Kingdra, I'm curious how that'll go. As always, I hope you guys enjoy the video, so let's jump right in and see if we can beat Pokemon Emerald only using the pair of Huntail and Gorebyss, with no items in battle. I begin my adventure as a young boy named Luigi, by far the better of the two brothers. We saved Professor Birch from a wild Zigzagoon using a Mudkip from his bag. By choosing Mudkip, it means our rival will have the Grass-type starter, who is super effective against both Huntail and Gorebyss. Upon reaching Oldale Town, I stop by the Pokemon Center and open my PC, and inside, I find two Pokemon. A Gorebyss named Jolly, and a Huntail named Roger. Both of them are shiny because I absolutely love the shiny colors on these two, and I feel like they're rarely ever seen. And something else that is also never seen is Huntail's back sprite in Generation 3. Oh my god, kill it with fire! It's hideous! And I love it! I have played Pokemon almost my entire life, since before Generation 3. And I swear to God, I don't think I've ever seen this back sprite before. Have you? Upon defeating May and helping a young man named Wally catch his first Pokemon, we make our way through the Petalburg Woods, reaching Rustboro City. I grab the Quick Claw from the trainer school and enter the first gym of our adventure, the Rock-type Gym. Here we face the Rock-type gym leader of the Hoenn region. It's Roxanne. Both Jolly and Roger are only level 9, but with the type advantage, Jolly knocks out both Geodude with one water gun each, and I decide to let Roger fight her ace Nosepass. I plan to switch so that they both get the experience, but Nosepass uses the move Block. Here's something you don't see every day. Block actually blocking you. She uses several potions and eventually smashes Roger with her signature move Rock Tomb. Roger's locked in because of Block, but thanks to the Quick Claw I gave him, he outspeeds and finishes Nosepass off. There's the Stone Badge. 1 down, 7 to go. We rescue Pico from Mr. Briny and then sail on his ship to Dewford Town. Here we go inside of the Granite Cave and deliver a letter to Steven Stone from the Devon Corporation. I don't feel too good about Brawley right now, so we go to Slateport first and clear out all the surrounding trainers and even Team Aqua at the museum. While here, I find a move tutor who offers to teach the move Swagger. This could be really useful, and since Roger learns worse moves overall, I teach Swagger to Roger. I still don't feel fantastic about Brawley, but I decide we may as well give it a shot. It's time for our second gym challenge versus the fighting type gym and its leader Brawley. He leads with a Machop, and I go for Iron Defense, but Machop uses Seismic Toss, doing fixed damage, so Iron Defense isn't going to be much help. I switch into Roger for his Meditite to try out Swagger, but then I remember his Meditite uses Focus Punch, dropping Jolly and Roger really quickly. On the second attempt, I try a full-on attacking strategy, and it works wonders. Confusion takes out Machop and Meditite without even getting hit, thanks to us outspeeding them both. And his Makahita goes down to a few uses of Confusion as well, really easily despite being underleveled. Nice work, Jolly. There's the Knuckle Badge. 2 down, 6 to go. After taking out almost all the trainers north of Slateport City, we have our next rival battle. And this is potentially the most difficult rival battle in any Pokemon game there is. It's Rival May on the way to Mauville City. And with her having Grovyle, I fear this battle greatly. She leads with a Wingull, who lands Supersonic on Jolly, but she hits through the Confusion and uses Confusion, doing over half. Next, Wingull only uses Growl, and Jolly hits through again, taking it out. Next up is her ace, it's Grovyle. I decide to let Roger do this, as I know it has the capability of dropping us quick. I know I need to go for swagger here. Absorb does a good chunk, but Roger raises Grovyle's attack 2 stages and confuses it. It then proceeds to hit itself in confusion for pretty substantial damage. And again, the following turn, knocking itself out. And with her final Pokemon being a Slugma, that's it for May, on the first try! Roger! Roger! Who would have thought that a random swagger tutor would be so useful? With the Electric Gym coming up, I know we're in for a rough time. I decide to fight every single trainer all around Mauville City, including grabbing the Mach Bike and taking on all the Cycling Road as well, with both Jolly and Roger learning Water Pulse in the process. Upon reaching Verdanturf Town, I grab the TM for a tract. This could be really useful down the line, so I want to hold on to it for as long as possible. I then go into the Rusturf Tunnel and grab the black glasses for Roger, since he has Bite and learns Crunch later on. It is time for the third gym of our adventure versus the Electric Gym and its leader, Watson. He leads with a Voltorb, who will always outspeed both Roger and Jolly, and it uses self-destruct when in a pinch, doing pretty substantial damage right away. Our first attempt does see us make it to his ace Manectric, but only to get blasted down by a Shockwave. I know at this level, it would require a pretty good amount of luck to beat Watson, so I decided to train both Roger and Jolly up to level 25, hoping it will be the edge that we need. It takes a good amount of attempts, but Jolly manages to use a Cherry Berry I had picked to get past Voltorb, and then one-shot his Electrike. His Magneton comes in next, and it usually takes us out here, but Water Pulse gets a lucky critical hit, taking it out in one shot, only leaving his ace, Manectric, left. It outspeeds both Roger and Jolly, dropping Jolly with a Shockwave, so it's all on Roger now. Our only hope is landing a Swagger, and having it hurt itself in confusion twice. It uses Howl, raising its attack, and Swagger raises it even more. Being at +3 attack, hurting itself does a ton of damage, and Water Pulse activates its Citrus Berry, and one more round of hitting itself in confusion with one more Water Pulse finishes Manectric off. Roger! Roger! I am loving this guy, he's a boss! There's the Dynamo badge! 3 down, 5 to go. West of Fall Arbor Town, we run into Team Aqua and Magma, and upon giving chase to Mount Chimney, we have our first battle with Maxie from Team Magma. His lead, Mightyena, gets knocked out by 2 uses of Water Pulse, his Zubat goes down to 1 confusion, and his ace, Camerupt, gets drenched in 1 final Water Pulse. We head south to Lava Ridge Town and grab an egg from the old lady by the hot springs. Comment down below and guess the closest town in relation to where you think this egg will hatch. I'll give a shout out to the first person that gets it right in the next challenge. Nice job on the last egg guess, Pokemaster. It is time for our 4th gym challenge versus the Fire-type gym and its leader, Flannery. I lead with Roger and she leads with her Numel. And as you can imagine, this fight goes rather swimmingly. Water Pulse one-shots her Numel, Slugma, and Camerupt, and her ace Torkoal comes out. It survives a Water Pulse and makes Roger fall in love with her. But our Roger is too strong for that nonsense. One final Water Pulse takes it out. He is a god and I love him. There's the Heat badge. 4 down, only 4 more to go. Jolly, Roger, and I head over to the desert and climb the Mirage Tower so we can choose a fossil. Naturally, I do pick the better of the 2. Why wouldn't I? Don't worry, guys. And then we make our way to Petalburg City for our 5th gym challenge. Here we face off against the leader of the gym, our father, and normal-type gym leader, Norman. I give Jolly a Persim Berry and Roger the Quick Claw. His Spinda lead uses Facade, and I take this opportunity to use an Agility, predicting he would use Teeter Dance on the next turn. And he did! This gets cured by our Persim Berry and allows for Jolly to outspeed all of his Pokemon. With being able to outspeed his Vigoroth and Linoone, they each only get 1 hit in on Jolly, allowing her to make it to Slacking. Slacking has a monstrous amount of attack, but can only attack in between turns, because of its ability Truant. Several hits from Water Pulse, and it hurting itself in confusion, uses up its Citrus Berry and one of Norman's Hyper Potions before Jolly eventually goes down. Roger comes in and I want to use Swagger, but if I do and it hits me, Roger's a goner. So instead, I just keep the water pressure on with Water Pulse. And after Norman heals one more time and uses Yawn on an already sleeping Roger for some reason, Roger wakes up and finishes the job. There's the balance badge. 5 down, 3 more to go. And upon defeating our father, Wally's father comes in and gets us and gives us the HM for Surf as his thanks for helping his Wally. This is a big step up from Water Pulse and immediately goes on both Roger and Jolly. Another big step up is that taking that Surf on over to the abandoned ship, there are 2 incredibly useful TMs for Huntail and Gorebyss here, which is ironic because this is also the place where you would normally get their evolution items. Regardless, we can only get one of those TMs right now, and that is the TM for Ice Beam. I teach this to Jolly since she's the better special attacker, and then we make our way over to the Weather Institute. Upon saving them from Team Aqua, we're gifted a cast form. This cast form is holding the Mystic Water, which is a fantastic held item for Jolly. Making our way to Fortree City, we get stopped by our rival May yet again. This time she leads with her Slugma, who Roger takes out with one quick serve. But now her Grovyle has Leaf Blade, doing a massive amount of damage to Jolly. But thankfully we picked up the TM for Ice Beam, which drops Grovyle in one shot. And Roger comes back in to take care of her Lombre with a couple of bites. We get the Devon Scope from Steven and catch the Kecleon for an HM user, then begin the next gym challenge of our adventure. It's the Flying type gym, and time to face its leader, Winona. She leads with a Swablu, and I lead with Jolly and her newly learned Ice Beam. It one-shots Swablu and Tropius, but then her Pelipper becomes quite the annoyance with Protect and Supersonic. It takes a lot longer than you'd think, but Jolly and Roger switch back and forth and eventually take it out. Her Skarmory comes out, and I let Roger fight it, and one Surf with a critical hit takes it out, and one final Ice Beam from Jolly ends her Ace Altaria. There's the Feather Badge from Winona. 6 down, only 2 more to go. We make our way towards Mount Pyre, and as I go to pick some berries, the Why Not egg from the hot springs begins to hatch. If you said Lily Cove City, you were correct. Congrats to whoever got it in first. Even if someone else already did, tell me if you got it right too, I'd love to see. The old lady at the peak of Mount Pyre gives us the Magma Emblem, and we take that Magma Emblem straight to Mount Chimney to chase Team Magma. Mexi from Team Magma's team is the same as before, except his Zubat has evolved into Crobat. I start by using Surf on his Mightyena, and it uses Scary Face. I know he's gonna heal, so I go for Agility here to correct my speed. And since he only uses Super Potions, we finish it off the next turn. His Crobat comes in, and it takes 2 hits from Ice Beam, and confuses Jolly with Confuse Ray. But thankfully, she manages to take it out. We give Jolly a break against his Camerupt and let Roger drown it beneath the waves. Now we can explore Team Aqua's hideout, and by defeating their admin Matt, we're able to surf on over to Moss Deep City for our 7th gym challenge against the Psychic-type gym leaders, Tate and Liza. A double battle, perfect for a tag team run. Jolly and Roger will both need to survive this battle for it to count. They lead with a Xatu and Claydol, both much higher leveled than us at this point, and Claydol's Earthquake does a massive amount of damage. I decided to double target Xatu because it used Calm Mind. Thankfully, Roger's Quick Claw activates, allowing him to crunch Xatu before it calms its mind. And we get the special defense drop as well, allowing for Jolly's Ice Beam to take it out. Next comes in their Solrock, who begins to charge a Solar Beam, meaning we need to remove it as soon as possible. Both Jolly and Roger use Surf, doing a ton of damage to both Claydol and Solrock, after they both barely survived another Earthquake from Claydol. Roger's Quick Claw needs to activate, and it does, taking out both Claydol and Solrock. And because of how double battle mechanics work in Generation 3, Jolly's already selected Surf blasts their Lunatone away before it was even able to move. There's the Mind Badge! 7 down, only 1 more to go. And before we can get that final badge, we have some Team Aqua and Magma shenanigans to deal with yet again. We join Steven Stone to face Maxie for the final time, and I found something out I never knew about. You can pick less than 3 Pokemon to go into this battle with. I never had a reason to try, but I was able to only send Jolly and Roger, despite having my HM users with me. We crush Maxie and his admin Tabitha handedly, and Steven gifts us the HM for Dive. Using it, we can go to Team Aqua's underwater hideout and challenge Team Aqua's Archie. He is more or less the same as Maxie, except with a Sharpedo instead of Camerupt. I lead with the God Roger, and he completely sweeps his team. This man, Roger, is an absolute unit. We reach Sutopolis City, and upon meeting Wallace in the Cave of Origin, we realize we need to go to the Sky Pillar to get Rayquaza's help. On the way, we reach Pacific Log Town, and I grab the TM for return. Roger has a fantastic attack stat, and with his happiness surely maxed out, I teach it to him as the physical return has a power of 102. And after getting Rayquaza, we do some backtracking for items we'll potentially need later on. We return to the abandoned ship with Dive to get the TM for Rain Dance. And then I remember, I never had our final rival battle with May in Lily Cove, so we stomp her with ease at this point and buy some TMs from the department store such as Protect and Blizzard. Then I make my way to Mount Pyre and grab the TM for Shadow Ball. With that, it is time for our 8th and final gym challenge against the Water-type gym and its leader, Juan. Let's pause for a second. I primarily make Pokemon Wedlock videos, super hard versions of the Nuzlocke challenge. My favorite series I have ever done was on Pokemon Emerald. And I am not shitting you. The Juan fight in that series is perhaps the single craziest battle in the history of Pokemon in its entirety. That might sound ridiculous, but if you're interested, go check it out. Or maybe even watch the series as a whole. You will not regret it. Also, a heads up real quick. A lot of you say I scream and yell in these challenge videos. I don't. I'm just a really loud person. You will know if I'm screaming. And you will know what that sounds like if you watch that Juan fight. You've been warned. Anyways, back to this Juan fight. I decide now is the time to use our Attract TM and teach it to Jolly. This will give us the edge that we need, and I don't want to commit to Double Team yet if I don't have to. Since his Love Disc uses Attract, I lead with Jolly so it can't use it on Roger. Jolly hurts herself in Confusion a couple of times, but takes Love Disc out with Psychic. Roger comes in, and the Mad Lad streak continues. This man is probably one of the most godlike Pokemon I have ever used. He gets a critical hit, taking out Whiscash in one shot. Then barely does less than half to Celio, gets paralyzed by Body Slam, I rage internally for a few seconds, then Roger makes me feel better, hitting through paralysis, critting again, taking Celio out. Then his Crawdaunt comes in, it lands Crab Hammer for solid damage, and Roger does slightly less than half again. Then Crab Hammer misses Roger, Roger hits through, and crits again. The machine fish Roger does it again. That's all we needed from him. It's time for Jolly to beat this Kingdra once and for all. It uses Double Team and we use Attract, and this goes on for quite a long while. We chip it down, he heals, we chip it down, he uses Rest. He heals, you get the idea. But Jolly manages to freeze it solid and finally take it out after several minutes. That Kingdra stalls like crazy. Now imagine it in a Wedlock challenge with a level limit and no items in battle. Oh wait, you don't have to imagine it. Go watch that Juan fight after this. Well, there's the Rain Badge. All 8 badges of the Hoenn region have been obtained. It is time for the Pokemon League. But before we can do that, we have one final rival battle with Wally in Victory Road. His team has changed drastically since we last saw him, and he's picked up a dirty trick called Double Team. I cannot escape this move. Let me spare you. This took me a good half hour just from horrific luck against this Gardevoir. It has Double Team, and that I think speaks for itself. We eventually take down his Altaria, Magneton, Roselia, and Gardevoir, all with Jolly, and we eventually reach the Pokemon League. Despite my better judgment with how amazing Jolly and Roger have been, I decide it's a good idea to not overlevel for the Pokemon League, and go in at level 58. I teach Jolly Shadow Ball on top of this, since I don't think Psychic will be of use. Time for the Pokemon League! First up is Sydney, the Dark-type user. Back in the older games, the Elite Four scaled their levels as you progressed, so we're at a much higher level than him, sweeping his team with ease. Next up is Elite Four Phoebe, the Ghost-type user. I take her annoying protecting Dusclops out with a few uses of Shadow Ball, and one of her 2 Bayonet comes in next. This one has Thunderbolt, which does a strong amount of damage after it survives our Shadow Ball. I go for Surf this time, instead to test the waters, and it takes it out. With this in mind, Surf takes out her other Bayonet, Sableye, and other Dusclops with ease, opening the way to Glacia. Glacia is the Ice-type user, and her lead Celio always leads with Hail. I decide to use Surf on it, despite the resistance, and it does more than Shadow Ball, which is good to know. Just goes to show how much better Gorebyss's special attack is. Jolly eventually takes out the first Celio and gets a lucky critical hit on her first Glalie. I decide it's time for Roger to shine, so I send him out against her second Celio, and Return does over half as she summons the Hail again. One more Return takes it out, and her second Glalie comes in. That Glalie goes down to 2 uses of Surf, and her Ace Wall Rain comes in. I go for Return here, and it only does about a third, but her Ice Beam doesn't do too much. I go for Swagger, hoping it would hurt itself, allowing for one more Return to take it out. It does hurt itself in Confusion, and that activates its Citrus Berry. So I audibly, jokingly say, Roger, just get a critical hit, you're really good at it. And he does, finishing Glacia off. I am telling you, Godfish. I teach Jolly the TM for Rain Dance, and teach Roger Blizzard for the final member of the Elite Four. It's Drake, the Dragon user. He leads with a Shelgon, and from memory, I know it loves to move Protect like Phoebe's Dusclops does. So I go for Rain Dance on the first turn for our Swift Swim. He doesn't use Protect surprisingly, but instead misses a Rock Tomb. He then proceeds to use Protect, stalling a turn of rain, but one Ice Beam takes Shogun out the next turn. And Ice Beam does the same to Altaria right after. Now, his Kingdra comes out. Oh god, not this again. Yeah, this again. I swap Jolly for Roger, and with the rain still up, we outspeed it and hit it with Return. Roger does slightly less than half as it uses a Dragon Dance, raising its attack and speed. It uses this again, and Roger uses some of his Swagger. It's risky, but it is now at +4 attack, and upon hurting itself in Confusion, puts it in the range of one more Return, getting rid of Kingdra. All that remains is his Flygon and Salamence, both 4 times weak to ice, so one Ice Beam from Jolly for each of them is all she wrote for Drake. It is time for the champion of the Hoenn region versus the Water-type Master Wallace. And can you believe it? Water-type Master, and he doesn't have a Huntail or Gorebyss. Massive missed opportunity. Definitely not a man of taste. It takes a good hour, but I managed to get the perfect attempt. And I taught Roger Double Team in the process. Leading with Jolly, we attract Wailord. Surf then gets a lucky critical hit, one-shotting Wailord. Ludicolo always comes in next, and that's a job for Roger and his Swagger. While Ludicolo's confused, I get up a few double teams for his later Pokemon. Ludicolo does manage to get a Giga Drain off, but Roger takes it out with just over half of his health remaining. Tentacruel lands the first Sludge Bomb, but misses the second, allowing Roger to take it out. His ace, Milotic, is next. Thanks to the well-needed double team, it misses Surf, allowing Roger to get Milotic's Citrus Berry taken away, and then it misses Surf again, using up one of Wallace's full restores. I then ask Roger to be a good boy like he has been, and get a critical hit. And he actually does! One-shotting Milotic! This has gotta be one of the best Pokemon I have ever used. He is legendary. Go Roger. He gets one final return off on Whiscash before going down to Earthquake, and Jolly comes in, finishing Whiscash off with Surf, and being at full health for his Gyarados. It isn't over yet! We need good luck against this thing, so I have Jolly attract it, but it hits through with Dragon Dance. Oh no, not like this. I have got to stop this thing, and fast. It stays immobilized, and I have Jolly use Ice Beam, freezing it solid. And with it staying frozen, Jolly takes it out with one more combination of Surf and Ice Beam. We just became the champions of the Hoenn region, only using the duo of Huntail and Gorebyss. And without a doubt, this has been the most enjoyable run I've done thus far. But we're not quite done yet. I spend the whole day getting Jolly and Roger to level 75 for the true champion of the Hoenn region, Steven Stone. His team ranges from the mid to high 70s, but we haven't truly won until we defeat him right here and now. He leads with Skarmory, who uses Aerial Ace on Jolly, but I have her summon the rain and one-shot it with Surf. Surf does the same to his Aggron, and his Cradily comes out next. Surf almost takes it out, and it heals a good chunk back with Giga Drain, almost knocking Jolly out. Jolly finishes it off with Ice Beam, and I have Jolly summon the rain once more against his Claydol for Roger to clean this fight up. Roger comes in and one-shots Claydol with Surf, 2 shots his ace Metagross would serve, and 1 more serve ends his Armaldo. And Steven Stone is done. And now I can say, we have won this game! Wow, this was the most fun I've had with one of these runs yet! HUNTAIL and Gorebyss are amazing, and Roger was a legend the entire way, and so was Jolly. It makes me really wish that these Pokemon were seen more often. It's a shame that them being so obscure has landed them as probably some of the most forgettable Pokemon of all time. And I really hope that you guys seeing them here today made you get a little bit more respect for HUNTAIL and Gorebyss. Playing through Pokemon Emerald again was an absolute blast as well. I think this run really cemented in my mind that Emerald is definitely my favorite Pokemon game. And I'd love to hear what your favorite Pokemon game is down below. I've just been having so much fun making these videos lately. I just really hope you guys are enjoying watching them just as much as I am making them. If you have, don't forget to tell me down below. I absolutely love hearing from you guys. And if you did enjoy the video, don't forget to click the like button as well on your way out. And maybe even consider subscribing to the channel as well if you haven't done so already, so you can be notified of future uploads for the channel. I upload a Pokemon Challenge video just like this one every single Saturday at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And maybe sometimes other days too. Next weekend, I think we're gonna continue this mini-series once again. Only 2 more generations to go. So definitely get your Johto Pokemon recommendations down below in the comments. I'd love to see what you guys have in store for me. Did you absolutely love this run and seeing me use a HUNTAIL and Gorebyss? Do you wanna see me use a Clamperl? Well, I already did. So if you want to see the namesake challenge that I created and used a Clamperl in, you can find a link to that video over here. Or if you just want to see all the challenges I've already done on the channel so far, you can find a link to the playlist for all of them over here. With all of that being said, I really do hope you guys enjoyed this one. This is my favorite one by far, and I really hope I'll get to see you guys next time. So until then, hopefully I'll see you guys then. Thank you so much for watching.